Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. It seems that the Conor Benn saga, soap opera, whatever you want to call it, it just will not die. Because if you cast your minds back to last year, I think it was July of last year, the National Anti-Doping Panel had cleared Benn to fight in Britain. And the British Boxing Board of Control and UKAD appealed that decision. Well, the information that's come through, I mean, there was an article in the Daily Mail, certainly not my favourite paper, but, you know, they even a broken clock's right twice a day. They reported that the appeal has been won by the British Boxing Board of Control and UKAD, which now means that presumably the ban that was initially imposed on Benn is reinstated, meaning he can't fight in Britain or he won't have a license. Now, there are a few things to mention. One is that Benn, if he liaises with the board and he accepts some sort of responsibility, culpability, whatever you want to call it, for the PED positive tests, which he has previously sworn blind, you know, with his 2,000-page dossier, whatever it was, that he never even had any sort of illegal substance in his system. He's absolutely adamant about that. But if he does accept responsibility for it and says, all right, you know, it was in my system, what do you want me to say? It's possible the board could backdate a ban. Let's say they gave him a year and they backdated it. And so, in effect, the ban would be lifted, but the board could walk away, and UKAD as well could walk away saying, okay, you can fight, but you've got to accept culpability for this. In other words, we were in the right, you were in the wrong. So Benn's got a decision to make, because if that ban is reinstated and there is no backdated ban and he remains you know, in no man's land concerning fighting in Britain, it basically means he'll have to go on the road. And I think one of the many mistakes that Benn and his team made was believing that, well, we don't need the British Boxing Board of Control. I'll fight abroad. I'll go to America. But most of the American commissions do have, you know, some sort of respect or possibly a relationship or a connection with the board, with the British Boxing Board of Control. And they will want to know, as part of their due diligence, has this guy been banned? Has he failed any tests? Now, who are they going to go to? They're going to go to the board. They're going to go to UKAD. And when it's discovered, not that it's a secret, that Benn has failed these tests, who's to say he'll get a license in certain states in the United States? Because yes, you can fight, say, in the South, in Mississippi, Texas. Texas is good at giving out licenses. A lot of those, you know, Bible Belt states, they're kind of boxing backwaters, and you can pick up a license. Likewise in Europe, you know, I mean, if Danny Williams, who is pushing 50 and is still fighting, and losing regularly, if he can get a Latvian license, what you think Conor Benn can't? What about well, actually, I was about to say, what about fighting in Ireland because of Dillian White and his comeback against Christian Hammer? That was in Ireland, but I think he had a Texas license, which is what Benn previously had. So all of this is, again, it's just this ongoing saga for Benn, who has fought twice in America under a Texas license. But ultimately, he and Eddie Hearn was adamant that the appeal would be turned down. If they want to come back to Britain, they're possibly in some trouble, especially when you consider that the biggest fight for Benn, even now, in terms of money, is the Chris Eubank Jr. fight, but that would have to be in Britain. You know, Conor Benn is not well known in America. Chris Eubank Jr. isn't that well known. In this country, it's a blockbuster fight. I think it's a gimmick fight. Personally, I don't like the fight, never have done, but it would sell. There is, of course, the chance that Benn could go to Saudi Arabia. They've had, failed drug tested boxers over there. Big Baby Miller's fought over there a couple of times. Lucas Brown was over there. Maybe he could go over there with a foreign license, pick up some Saudi money. That's a possibility. I mean, if anyone can sort of navigate Benn through these choppy waters, very choppy waters, shark-infested waters, it's Eddie Hearn, because he probably is, if not the biggest promoter in the world at the moment, internationally. I'm talking about putting fights on and cards on all over the world. Even Top Rank don't really do that. Not all over the world. But Hearn has an awful lot of power, and his, reach is great, shall we say. He could probably get Benn some work. But unfortunately for Benn, this saga, it just won't die. It just won't die. And it was so appallingly handled. It's getting on for 18 months now, I think. So, yeah, it looks like Benn is no closer to having this resolved. A definite blow. The fact that, the appeal was won. I mean, this could be going to the Court of Arbitration for Sport, which I suppose has a sort of ombudsman's role. But, if I was Benn, I'd just say, I'd try and cut a deal on the quiet with the board and say, I'd get his lawyers to speak to the board, say, all right, it was in my system. I admit it. Never mind my 2,000-page dossier. I'll admit it if you backdate my ban. A year, 18 months, maybe a 6-month ban, and then I can get on with my career. I'd be looking to do that. Anyway, what do you think? Are you sick to death of this subject? I think a lot of people are. You got any comments, just leave them below. And obviously subscribe to the channel if you're new. That would be a big help. And also hit the like button. Thank you for your time as always. I will catch you later. Bye for now.